Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Let's start with our Pledge of Allegiance, please. That's my, there you go. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Thank you so much. Me. Shay, may we have a roll call vote to establish a quorum?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Jackson,
Here.
Ms. Tisworth, Dr. Yvonne Elliott,
Present.
Ms. Williams, Ms. Lane.
Here.
Ms. Mario,
Here.
and Dr. Coleman.
Here. Do you need us to wait another minute, Shay?
Yeah.
Is this still
Oh, good.
Let's give them a minute. Okay, okay, all right. Thank you so much. Ms. Maria, would you please read our board norms?
These are the board norms, the Riverview Gardens School Board. Number one, cohesive team. Number one, we'll pause to hear all voices after someone speaks. Number two, consider all opinions. Number three, assume positive intention. Item number two, collective agreement. Number one, collective voices to reach decisions. Number two, honor and respect the work of the board. Number three, honoring and supporting the board decision at all times. Item three, be prepared for meetings. Number one, the board will review the packet details and submit questions within the established time frame. Number two, members of the board will arrive 5 minutes prior to the start of the meeting. Number three, administration will release board packets to the Riverview Gardens School Board of Education within the identified time frame. Item four, not allow outside entities to dictate board actions. So under number one, Riverview Gardens School Board of Education's decisions will be made based on facts, policies, and procedures, not individual opinions or requests. And number two, educate and encourage the community to follow proper protocol for voicing concerns, and that's policy KC, community engagement. Those are our board norms.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Maria. Welcome, everyone. It is my pleasure tonight to announce that we have two distinguished, all of our guests are distinguished. I want you to know that I'm not playing favorites, but we have two highly distinguished guests in our midst tonight. Representative Yolanda Fountain Henderson. And we are always so grateful for her support. And Senator Angela Walton Mosley. And we are so grateful for their support. Listen, these ladies work hard to support our schools here and in Jefferson City. They make our presence known, and Riverview is known because of them, and great decisions are made because of their hard work. And we certainly appreciate you. So with that being said, I'd like a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
It's
Madam
been
Chair.
moved, oh, I'm second. It's been moved by Dr. Yvonne Elliott and second by Ms. Morreal to approve the agenda. And now Riverview Excellence.
Evening. All right. Good evening, Board of Education, Dr. Patton, colleagues, community, and scholars. Tonight for Riverview Excellence, we have several honorees, and one of the things that we've been doing lately, working with Dr. Patton, is having the schools make sure that they nominate scholars, staff members, and parents from each school. As you know, we're rotating between schools in the second meeting. And so today we're honoring people from Westview Middle School. And so first I'm going to ask for Dr. Cedric Gerald to come on up because he was the key in selecting these individuals. And I'm going to ask for Noelle Lewis and Chloe Sakas Williams, two scholars from Westview Middle, to come on up. Yep, come on, Chloe. And as she's coming up, I'll give a brief synopsis, and then if Dr. Gerald wants to elaborate. But Noelle Lewis is a 8th grade scholar at Westview Middle. He's an all-around great kid, according to Dr. Gerald. And Lewis is always trying to learn ways to be a better student for himself and for his peers. So we want to honor you for that, Mr. Lewis. Chloe Sakas Williams is a 6th grade scholar at Westview. She's described as brilliant, and she advocates for herself to ensure that she will take every opportunity to learn. And during her lunch period, she tries to eat lunch quickly so she can go to the library and read. And so we want to just honor her for always wanting to educate herself. Dr. Gerald, anything else for these students? All right. And if you guys stand to the side, because we have some presentations for you. We have a parent, I don't think she's here with us tonight, but I do want to read it. Miss Kanisha Lockett is a parent from Westview Middle. She has a current scholar and a former scholar who attended Westview. But Miss Lockett always is trying to build a pipeline for nursing to get boys and girls interested in nursing. And so she has been integral to Dr. Gerald and his team to try to create a program just to get students involved in nursing. And so we want to honor her. And so we'll invite her back for the next meeting. She's not here tonight, but let's give her a round of applause, Ms. Lockett. And then if I can have the Westview admin team, William Givens, Nikki Lloyd, and Asia Nash, come on up. And these three are the assistant principals at Westview Middle, if you're not familiar with them. The admin team has been an integral part of the cultural turnaround that's happened at Westview. And I think for people who've been here for a couple of years, we've seen a definite turnaround there at Westview. They've trusted Dr. Gerald to be their leader. Everybody say, yes, it's like we're in church. Everybody like, amen. And they've helped to coach the Westview teachers and work tirelessly to ensure that Westview lives up to the idea that learning is required. Let's give them a round of applause. And parents, if you're here, parents of the scholars, please come on up. Miss Lloyd's husband, come on up. Friends, family, loved ones, come on up. Children, uncles, aunties. a family affair. Come on. I'm gonna have to open the door and go outside. There's a lot of people.
All right, we're gonna make sure you sing.
And to all the other building leaders out there, Westview has just issued a challenge because you see they brought the family out. So we want to see this many reps from all the schools every board meeting.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
and Dr. Patton. Ms. Charmel Wilson, can you stand up a minute? Charmel, yes.
She leave out.
She's in the hallway. I want you all to see her, and I'll tell you why shortly. Come on up here. So last Friday, in my capacity as a banker, I was asked to participate in a college career fair on behalf of the Little Bit Foundation. And I want to tell you, we had students that came from various high schools and middle schools. And one set of students came up and were asking me questions about my job, how I got my job, what are the qualifications for my job. They were asking me questions about the college information that I was putting out, what have you. And so then this lady came up and we started talking, and I found out that those students were Westview Middle School students. And the young lady that you see standing is the one that brought them out. So you know what that did for me. And I'm not saying this to be funny or anything, but they were probably, of all the 600 students that were there, they were the only ones that asked me questions about college and career and about my job. And so I am equally proud, and I just wanted to thank you for bringing them out. Our baby shines.
Thank you so much. I'm so proud of Westview Middle because y'all know I used to work there. I am so proud. But one thing I must say, it is a reflection of Dr. Gerald and his
Absolutely.
great leadership.
Absolutely.
It is a reflection. And if you don't know, he has turned that school around. He has been Riverview's Joe Clark, okay?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. No pressure, Dr. Gerald, no pressure.
No pressure, no pressure at all. But I'm telling you, he has done a marvelous job, and all this that you see tonight is because of his leadership. So we certainly appreciate him. I also want to take 1 minute to acknowledge Mayor Reggie Jones. He hid from me over there, but I see him now. So we want to make sure that we acknowledge the leaders in our community and in our midst that come out to support us, because we need all of us. And so I'm grateful.
Here. Yes, I was going to acknowledge, you talked about our elected leaders. I do want to acknowledge the superintendent of Jennings School District, Dr. Paula Knight. Dr. Knight is here. Dr. Knight is serving as my mentor this school year, and she has been very helpful, very supportive. And I do want to say I appreciate you and the support you've provided. Thank you. And thank you for being
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much. Yes, just see, we don't get to talk enough about all the great things that are going on. You can always turn on the news and see something else, but when you hear, you know what's really going on and all the great things that are happening in our district. At this time, it is time for public comment. Shay, do we have any patrons?
Dr. Coleman, we do not have any public comments at this time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Y'all have to tell them to come out so they can find out all the great things that are going on. When your neighbors start complaining, say, did you know?
Mhm.
And tell them what's going on in review. At this time, are there any more announcements, Ms. Lane?
Thank you, President. Tomorrow is October 9th. That is the last day that we have to register to vote. I encourage each of us, all of us, if your child is 18 years or will be by November 4th, please encourage everyone to vote in this coming November election. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Madam Chair, and I have voter registration cards with me if you need to take some. with you.
And so do I.
Always prepared.
Dr.
Okay.
Elliott.
Yes, hello, everyone, and welcome to our special guest. Iota Phi Lambda Lake St. Louis chapter is hosting a virtual youth voter registration event tomorrow from 4:30 till maybe about 8. So we have sent correspondence to the high school, so hopefully we'll have some youth to join. I have not seen any emphasis across Missouri that focused on the teens outside of going in physical, but they can register online. So since they are into technology, maybe they'll get on and do that part. The other thing that I wanted to acknowledge, this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we do have some survivors amongst us. So if you're a survivor of breast cancer, could you please stand so we can acknowledge you? Miss Maggie. Awesome. We thank you for your courage and your tenacity, and we do encourage you to go and get checked out because early detection is what saves lives. This is also Domestic Violence Month, so we do want to acknowledge that and the need to communicate even to our young students about domestic violence because they do get into those things early in high school and middle school in the relationships that evolved in high school that can be kind of negative. And I think our others acknowledgement is around, let me see, Administration Month, right? So we would like to thank all the administrators for all that you do. You are the backbone for your sites and your roles, and we really do appreciate you. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you very much. One other announcement, Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Reverend Tommy Harsley will be hosting our Faith Walk. And if you'd like to join and walk the campus of Riverview Gardens High School, we will be there at 10 a.m. Saturday.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you. Absolutely. All good news.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the representatives. Thank you all for coming out. Two things. I live in on Castle Point and Corporate Campus Point. We are having an event. I'm not sure, the date is not pinpoint, but you all, the board will get an invite and also the representatives will get an invite. We have a lot of bullying and fighting and just a lot of mess going on in the area. And I'm sorry, it's really close to my heart. Our babies need us. Our babies need us to show up. Our babies need us to care. Our babies need us to love on them. Our babies need us to know that it's okay not to be okay. So the event is going to be an anti-bullying event. And we're having different representatives come out and just talk to the kids. Different organizations are going to be out to talk to our babies because our babies need that conversation. Some of them don't get that at home. Some of them are going home and they're not getting what they need. And they're coming to school and they're angry and they're acting out. And they're acting out because they can't do this or this kid may have this kind of shoe on. But we just want to make a word is that bullying is not okay and that every child deserves to be loved. So that's my first announcement. My second announcement is congratulations again to the administrators. Happy Principal Month is what I said at Lewis and Clark. And what we did at Lewis and Clark, but secretary, the administrator did, they did posters, they put them all over the school of the
Oh.
principal. And just, I challenge you all, go back to your school districts if you all are looking on live or whatever, and let your principals know they're appreciated. They have a hard job. I mean, a hard job. I mean, some of the days I go over there, I be like, woo, you need a break. They have a hard job, and some of the kids are really hard to deal with, but I see that principal challenge it. I see her take her heels off, put her tennis shoes on and hit that hallway. And that's hard. That's a lot. She has to run the building and sometimes be mother to some of the kids in the building. So appreciate your principals and show them that they are loved and they are cared for. I mean, just a look, I'm saying, give them some lunch or something. Do something nice for them. Just let them know that they're appreciated because they need that appreciation. And they need for somebody to say that it's okay. And it's okay for them not to be okay too, because some days they're not okay because they go through so much in the day. So that was my biggest announcement. Again, thank you all and happy Principal Month and Administrative Month to you guys.
Thank you. Now, Dr. Patton, we are ready for the
Ye-
consent agenda. We'll move into that.
So that needs to be approved by the board, correct?
Oh,
The consent agenda?
Yes.
Yes. Mhm.
A motion to approve the consent agenda.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I so move.
It's been moved by Ms. Morrill and second by Ms. Jackson to move into the consent agenda. Dr. Patton.
We're moving into the superintendent's report, correct? Oh. You need a vote for the consent
I'm
agenda.
sorry. Roll call, please. No, all in favor to move into the consent agenda?
Aye.
Any opposed? You know, I did not see the superintendent report here.
I
Did
see
I
it.
miss it?
I
You
see
see
it. It's right after the consent agenda.
7.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
All that other, the commencement stuff was in front of it. Okay. All right. Well, superintendent's report first.
Well, my board took all my announcements. So, hello, everybody. No, I do want to recognize our building principals as they've already been recognized, but it is a hard job. It is loving our students, nurturing them, being mother, father, nurse, everything that we can be to them. So that is a very difficult job. So to our building leaders, we take our hats off to you and we thank you for the work that you do every day. We're going to move these superintendent's announcements before the board announcements next time. So that's how that's going to work. Okay. I also want to, Ms. Jackson, you mentioned the bullying. I heard about that. And, you know, we have a restorative staff in our district. We can help support that. So we can talk more about how we can support that. You're welcome. And then our homecoming was last Saturday. And our students, no, it was actually the Saturday before last. And the parade was beautiful. The football game was even more beautiful because Riverview Gardens won. And so I do have to say this, Miss Nave's husband is the principal at the high school and Miss Nave over in Normandy. And Ms. Nave was the principal here. So there's a trophy that they pass back and forth with whoever wins. So Ms. Nave somehow accidentally dropped it. It broke. And I told her that if Normandy won, we were going to give it to them in pieces. The good news is we won. And so she didn't have to hand off the trophy in a bag. So congratulations to our football team. And I do want to say this, as we watch the game, the camaraderie between both teams, the sportsmanship between both teams, it was heartwarming. You know, they would tackle their opponent and then they'd help them up. They were very respectful of one another, the camaraderie and the sportsmanship. That was more touching than us winning the game to me. So I do want to acknowledge both teams, the Normandy team and then the Riverview Garden teams. They did a great job, both of them. We also had our dance that went very well that night. So hats off to the high school team who ran a great homecoming. We appreciate that as well. We have community walks coming forward Dr. Coleman, you mentioned the faith walk. You took that from my list. But we do have community walks. There will be one coming up in November. I will get that date to you. And I do want to acknowledge, also, we had our job fair at the high school that Ms. Morrill mentioned, and we had lots of students, lots of employers, from Better Family Life to the St. Louis Zoo to the bank. So thank you for everyone who participated. And this is special to me. We have our first student reps for the 24-25 school year present. Ms. Jewel Minner and Mr. Keyshawn Word. Can you please stand? So come on up, tell us a little bit about yourself, come up to the mic. Do you all have announcements you want to make as well? All right, this is your opportunity. Introduce yourself, tell us about you.
Good evening. My name is Jewel Minner. I am a senior at Riverview Gardens High School. In addition to being the student representative to the Riverview Gardens Board of Education, I also participate in being the senior class president. I'm the secretary of the National Honor Society and editor-in-chief of the journalism program. I'm looking forward to being a student voice on the board and serving the students at Riverview Gardens.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Keyshawn Word. I am a senior at Riverview Gardens High School. In addition to being the student representative to the Riverview Gardens Board, I also participate in the different planning committees. I helped out with our homecoming dance. I also participate in book club off and on when I get the free time. And I also participate in North Technical High School. I am the ambassador for our law enforcement program. I am looking forward to being the voice of our students on the Board of Representatives.
Very good. Well, go ahead.
So we follow like the structure of first we present the positive things that are going on at our high school, then upcoming events, and then our student expectations. Some of the positive things that are happening at Riverview Gardens High School. At the start of the school year, Channel 5 covered our early morning pep rally, providing a positive kickoff to our school year. We organized 3 pep rallies this year to increase school spirit throughout and before homecoming week, which is a huge change from the past years when we didn't have events at all. This effort promotes an enthusiastic and happy school environment. Homecoming had a fantastic turnout featuring our clubs participating in the parade alongside our homecoming float created by the committee. We've received nothing but positive feedback from the dance, so we're planning on hosting another one soon.
Some of the upcoming events we have is our preparations for Haunted Hallways, which is underway. Each class will designate their designated hallways, and a panel of alumni will judge displays to choose a winner. The senior class office has also viewed this as a chance to organize a Halloween fundraiser. As a school will already be decorated, this event will allow us to open up the high school to other kids in the district for trick-or-treating activities. We are planning a Halloween movie night in collaboration with our journalism program to open up that opens up to the entire student body. One night will feature a film based on our yearbook theme, while the other will showcase a Halloween movie. These 2 screenings will be held on different dates.
Lastly, student expectations. During a discussion regarding the high school's report card for our newspaper, student support services were brought up, and the topic shifted to restorative justice and the mediation processes involved. We praised the restorative justice classes for allowing students to express themselves in a discussion-based setting. However, complaints have come up about mediation, as many students believe that an essential step is lacking. They frequently arrive in mediations unprepared, confronted with problems they have not previously considered. We believe that speaking with both parties before mediations could result in better outcomes and avoid people from feeling interrogated.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you both and welcome. Welcome to the board. And with your suggestion, the young lady sitting to your right, speak to that young lady, Miss Deirdre Liddell. She can help you out with the restorative. Welcome to our team. Welcome, students. Board President, that concludes my announcements.
Now we are ready to.
Items for information. We've got to get used to diligent.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was just looking at the order, okay, I'm gonna look at my paper again. My computer's telling me stories. Items for information.
Okay.
Um,
Our first item up for information is our September travel report for 2024. Making this announcement is Dr. Tiffany Patton, the Professional Development Coordinator, and this is in conjunction with policies DLCA, travel expenses, and GCL, professional staff opportunities. Dr. Patton?
Good evening, Riverview Gardens Board of Education, Dr. Patton, colleagues, community, and friends. You have received the September travel reports. I am happy to answer any questions that you may have about the information at this time. Okay.
Okay, thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Patton. Our next item up for information is Father's Walk. This is being presented by Deirdre Liddell, Executive Director of Student Support and Community Service. And this is in conjunction with Policy KC, Community Engagement. Ms. Liddell.
Greetings to the Riverview Garden School Board of Education, Dr. Tanya Patton, colleagues, and community. We have an upcoming Father's Walk. Father's Walks are essential to young children to see positive role models, especially men of their community and fathers. It helps reinforce a sense of identity and self-worth. When children witness loving and engaged Black men, they understand that it's possible for themselves and their community. Events like the Father's Walk, where male figures walk their children to school, highlight the importance of fatherhood, strengthen the bonds between fathers and children. These moments also help challenge negative stereotypes about men of color. They create lasting images of support, protection, pride that they can carry with them as they grow. Tomorrow, October 9th, we have an upcoming Father's Walk at Glasgow, Highland, Gibson Elementary, as well as Success Academy. The Father's Walk for the elementary schools will start tomorrow at 7:45 and run to 8:45. And Success Academy will run from 7 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. Last Wednesday, we had Michelle Obama's Father's Walk. It was a great event. Our fathers showed up and showed out. And many of them said that they will join the rest of the Father's Walk for the month of October.
Good.
So
That's
we
awesome.
hope to see all of our men of the community out.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Liddell.
Are there any questions?
You turned it off. Mhm.
Testing. How are we supporting any of the youth that don't have fathers to make them feel included as well?
Yes, so we put the information out to all of the schools. Our youth that don't have fathers were able to ask their home school coordinators, their teachers. We also have men of community agencies come out. We also have the Divine Nine, the males of the Divine Nine come out. We have 100 men. We have the police officers that have come out. So we have a lot of community partners that have come out as well. And everyone is supported.
Good. It's good for the community to know that as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say that it really did my heart good to open that up and work and everybody saw it. I just love stuff like that. I like that.
And it was on the news as well and in
Yeah,
the
I made a
newspaper,
point
so
of
it
that.
was, yes. Yeah, thank you, Ms. Liddell. Our next item for information is a program of evaluation for our ELL, English Language Learner. Making this presentation is Ms. Kimberly Mott and her crew. And this is in conjunction with policies IM, programs for English learners. Ladies.
Okay, good evening, Riverview Gardens Board of Education, Superintendent Dr. Tanya Patton, colleagues and community. We are here tonight to present the 23-24 ELL program evaluation. We have two of our ELL teachers here tonight. Karuna Devetti, who supports the high school ELL students, and Catherine Davis Wynn, who supports the elementary ELL students. We also hired a third ELL teacher, Amy Lee. She couldn't be here tonight because she had a previous family commitment, but she supports the Westview Middle School, the middle school ELL students. Okay, so we are going to begin with Karuna.
Thank you, Ms. Mark, for providing me this opportunity to introduce myself third time for this platform. I'm so happy. Always I am. Okay. Good evening to all of you. My name is Karuna Dwivedi, and I serve as an ELL specialist position in Riverview Garden High School. Ooh, okay. Being associated with an ELL program in this district, we as a team work very collaboratively with ELL families who tend to travel and enroll throughout the year. So as of before submitted, as per with the before submitted data, we have 64 current students in K through 12 setting. Out of 64 students, we have 57 active students and 7 students are under monitored status. The language, but the ELL families and students they speak mostly is in Spanish. We also have Swahili, Somali, French, Portuguese, and Yoruba. The students were distributed among 3 levels. We have 32 students in elementary level, 17 students in middle, and 16 students in the high school level. We have 15 new enrollments who came first time in the USA, 15 new enrollments who got transferred from another district or another state in the USA, 13 students moved out of district, and finally, we have 1 student, last but not least, we have 1 student got graduated. Yeah. Our goal is to identify, assess, and serve all K through 12 non-native English speakers to deliver individualized program through English language learning services in order to provide full support in their linguistic and cultural participation. We aim to identify areas of growth, further study, and support by using VITA, which is an Access ESL assessment tool. We also work with classroom teachers to support direct content area instruction. We assess and work to increase reading and literacy growth opportunities. And we also provide cultural information to ELL students and families to navigate the school and the St. Louis community area. I would like to offer Ms. Severson to present it from.
Thank you. The mentioned WITA Access tool covers 4 domains: reading, speaking, writing, and listening. The score varies from a starting point of 1 and expands all the way to a 6. And the score needed to test out of the program is set at 4.7 by the state. This is how we measure our growth from year to year for our students and how we also instruct their classroom sort of support tools and inform their teacher on the areas in which they need to, provide additional focus on. We also help with the families and understanding the areas that we work with personally, and that way the students have a clear direction for how we can assess their language development. We are happy to report growth in our students this year. From the 16 students with comparable data that we tested at secondary level, we had an average growth of 0.218 points. Our goal was 0.25 points, so we are very close to achieving that goal. We're very happy with that. And we had 10 students who did not have comparable data from the previous year, so we now have a bar set for them to match for the upcoming testing window in January and February. The students who are considered under monitored status, they are not required to test as they have reached that 4.7, and thus we just make sure that their academics stay consistent with their performance. On the elementary level, we had 13 students with comparable data for their growth. We had a score of 0.936 improvement there. We surpassed our 0.6 goal, so we're very happy with our elementary school students. This is really good news as we expand our program. We look forward to which areas we can help our students with. The more students we have with that growth, the more we can sort of take them and have them in our collaborative group areas, and we see them helping and supporting each other. So we hope that these numbers continue to grow. We had 8 students with no comparable data, which means they now have their baseline, and 1 monitor not required to test. So to close out our presentation, our opportunities and next steps include providing additional professional development to our department. Through collaboration with Dr. Tiffany Patton and Ed Plus, we were able to attend a wonderful PD with our St. Louis representative, Rob Greenhall, back in May, which provided a lot of great sort of data and support for us moving forward and how to tend to our growing population. And we also want to make sure that we are continuously building our ELL resource library. So we do have a shared Google Drive between our department in which we add and support different documents pertaining to how we can help assist our families. Part of that is making sure that we have available documents for our new families to engage in our community with. This involves translating flyers, making sure they have access to events, and making sure that enrollment is easier for them. So as we go through the enrollment process, we can make sure that they have the information such as what documents are required, what to expect, dress code, available services in the district. So our future options for progress in our department is we'd like to look at the option to propose a budget for our department in the future to meet our growing population needs. So thank you for your time. Are there any questions?
It's not necessarily a question. How often do you all, or do you all ever access International Institute? Do you find yourself ever working with them, or?
The International Institute of St. Louis?
Yes.
Yes. So in the past, we have reached out a little bit. A lot of what we do is make sure that if there are social services that our families need in the area, we consistently keep in touch as well with our transferring school districts.
Right.
That way we can recommend that way they're not scrambling to re-enroll somewhere if they end up moving.
Right. So I know that they do offer those support services.
Yes, they're excellent.
Thank you.
Yes.
I was just curious about any online instruction that's available for the children outside of school. Do you have something that they can get on and continue to learn English outside of the school setting?
In reference to that, we do have a lot of the shared documents that we provide our students. We have Google Classroom that we enroll our students in. We also partner with some of our librarians to provide Sora, which has bilingual books, which allows them to read a lot of books that our students are reading in class in English, also supporting at home in Spanish, trying to get that support at home and in school.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Dr. Coleman, this concludes the items for information. Items for discussion. Our first item up for discussion is our policy recommendations. Making this presentation is Ms. Jennifer Williams. She is our Human Resource Manager, and this is in conjunction with policy CH and BF. Ms. Williams?
Good evening, Board of Education, Dr. Patton, community, and colleagues. Tonight, I am presenting 3 policies. The first policy is policy BDC, which is closed meetings, records, and votes. The revisions are being made to comply with Senate Bill 28 and 186 to add new categories of records that the district can declare closed and not publicly make available, and to revise an existing exception. It is recommended that the district accepts the revisions as written by the MSBA. The second policy is EHBD, artificial intelligence, and this is a new policy for district consideration. AI presents both issues and opportunities for the district, and this policy sets the framework for creating a district AI use plan and outlines the principles that the plan will follow. It is recommended that the district accepts this new policy as proposed by the MSBA. And the third and last policy is policy GBCB, staff conduct, and this policy just has some grammatical changes. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the grammatical changes in the policy as written by MSBA. Are there any questions?
I guess my question is for the superintendent. With the coordinator responsibilities, the AI coordinator, would that be more so some type of extra service pay? How would we support that role financially?
Oh, financially, that's a good question, Dr. May. So I don't know that we would need to go outside of our district to support that. We have our technology department along with our systems coordinator, and we should be able to, and you're referring to the AI, correct? Yes. So those two departments would work together.
Along with the communications department?
Yes, along with it.
Oh.
Sorry, Ishmael.
You like that question, the extra service pay? Okay. All right, we have a note for it.
Okay.
Dr. May, don't,
If there aren't any more questions, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Our next item up for discussion is the District Student Handbook, 2024-25. Making this presentation is Ms. Deirdre Liddell, Executive Director of Student and Community Support Services. And this is in conjunction with policy CHCA handbooks. Ms. Liddell.
Good evening again. The student handbook serves as a comprehensive guide outlining the school's policies, expectations, and procedures. The handbook helps create consistency across the school setting, uniform guidelines, and attendance, discipline, and academic integrity. Overall, a well-developed student handbook supports a safe, respectful, and positive, productive learning environment. It is recommended that the district approve the revised student handbook for the 24-25 school year at the next meeting. Are there any questions? Thank you.
Do we have any plans or have you all talked about parents having to sign off that they have received and read and understand what you're smiling, what the
Yes.
handbook is about?
Yes, ma'am. So in the last conversation we had about the handbook, this is the one for students, and we talked about having them sign. So we've started putting plans in place. So the other book has a revised page. On this book, we went ahead and put that page in there. Also with our new student information system, that will be a pop-up screen that will come in for the new student information system as well. And when we do registration for next year, we will be adding that. So that's a page that we've talked about adding in our focus, which is our new student information system as well.
Madam Chair, I have a question. Yes. Ms. Liddell, what are some of the other revisions other than the ones you just stated to the handbook?
So there's no real revisions to the handbook from last school year. It's pretty much the same. The revisions for the upcoming year will include all of the AI information as well. So there wasn't a lot of changes to this handbook.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Liddell. Our next item up is MoreNet Digital Library. This is being presented by Ms. Tanya Ross, our ELA Curriculum Coordinator. And this is in conjunction with policy IIA, Instruction and Materials. Ms. Ross?
Good evening, Riverview Gardens Board of Education, Dr. Patton, colleagues, and school community. Tonight, I'm offering up for information the MoreNet Digital Library. It works very much just like students having the opportunity to check out print, whether from our district libraries or from St. Louis County. Some added features include support to not only our students, but also our staff. So our teachers are also able to check out from the Google Suite. They can click on the Sora app, which houses the collection over 5,000 books. In addition, any library that uses the Overdrive platform to house its books can also be accessed through the Sora app. So St. Louis County, St. Louis Public, St. Charles, and private library, if they use Overdrive, they can be connected to the Sora app. The purpose of the collection is to provide our students with 24/7 access, in addition to be able to use any type of device to access the digital materials. The cost is budgeted and is not to exceed $5,000. Are there any questions? Thank you. I'm
When
sorry.
you say any device, when you say any device to access that, the digital library, are you also including, cell phones?
Yes, because it works through an app. So whether that,
So if we're the yonder pouches,
Mm-hmm.
and if we're using the yonder pouches, how is that? So do you mean
So-
cell phone use at home?
so yes and no.
Okay.
Our students have Chromebooks.
Yes.
They can be accessed through the Chromebook. Laptops, phones, here and away from school grounds.
Okay, thank you.
You're
Madam
welcome.
Chair, I have a question.
Yes.
Ms. Ross.
Mhm.
Ms. Ross. Is this new? Did you say this was new or we're already using it?
No, we're already using it.
So what does the utilization look like?
So each month it's added, the circulation is added on to the monthly circulation for our district library books. So anywhere, I'm gonna say across the district, about 1,000 extra additional checkouts, but it's by school, including Michelle Obama.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Very good.
Thank you, Ms. Ross. Our next item up is the Project Aware reimbursable contract. Making this presentation is Ms. Deirdre Liddell. You should just have stayed there. Executive Director of Students and Community Support, and she will also be presenting the next one. Both of these will be in conjunction with Policy DJF Purchasing. Ms. Liddell.
Thank you. The Riverview Garden School District was awarded the Project Aware Grant in October of 2022. It provides over $400,000 annually for 5 years. This grant is used to raise awareness and improve treatment of mental health challenges among students, train staff to respond to these concerns, and connect students and families with necessary services. It promotes healthy development, it prevents youth violence, and provides behavioral health services within our schools. Students will have access to specialty programs through community health centers. And in this effort, it will support mental health and hopefully reduce the suspension rate and promote long-term success. The budget impact is $428,335. And it has been budgeted. This has previously been reviewed by legal. And it is recommended that the School Board of Education accept the 2024-25 Project Aware Grant budget and approve the utilization of district funds with the understanding that is a reimbursable amount at the next board meeting. Are there any questions?
Madam Chair.
Mhm.
Yes, go ahead. Will this be inclusive of students, even though they receive services from SSD, they are still?
Yes, ma'am.
Your question?
I was just curious, there's already a plan outlined with the service providers to support implementation?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, I have a question.
Yes, please.
And Ms. Liddell, how would the students access Project Aware? How would they receive services?
So we have embedded services, so part of our restorative team is funded by Project Aware. Also, we have a health or wellness coordinator that helps with programming for our community and our students. They have helped with the staff lounges and and the wellness centers through in our schools. It also helps provide us any additional services that we need with mental health partners, whether inside or out of the school setting.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Thank you.
Ms. Liddell just rolled right into your MOUs.
Okay. MOUs are essential to the success of our district as they facilitate valuable external support and enhances educational experience and overall well-being for our scholars. The district programs that extend beyond the regular school hours it sets up a safe and a supportive environment that contributes to healthy and a creative school community. All of the MOUs that are presented are free. The presented MOUs are Empower, Mentoring, Better Family Life, and Girls in the Know. The Office of Student Support Services is requesting the approval of the attached MOUs for the 24-25 school year for the next board meeting. Are there any questions?
Just something beautiful about the word free.
Ms. Morrow, turn on your microphone and say that again.
I said, it's just something beautiful about the word free. Yes.
For each of the MOUs, what's the target amount of participants?
Really, it depends on the organization and their capacity. We always want them to start, and then we ask how many schools and how many students they can service. So we always try to expand. We start our expansion in the gaps. So we try to fill all of the gaps that we may have in service areas, and then we expand from there.
So like, for instance, girls in the know, there's, what's the amount of students, young ladies they may target as an example?
So what we'll do is we'll run them through programming.
Mhm.
So if their programming is 3 weeks, then we'll run one group through 3 weeks, which might be 20 students, and then we'll ask for another 3 weeks. So so if there is, let's say there's 200 students, right? We always try to make 200 students. I believe Girls in the Know is 180. We're always going to try to push for a little bit more.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Liddell. And then our final item up for discussion is the MSBA Delegate Assembly. This is being presented by our own board president, Dr. Coleman.
Our MSBA Delegate Assembly, we wanted to bring so that the public was aware of the issues that we are voting on. We have 3. Let's get down here so I can see it. And we have 3, what's the word I'm looking for, Doctor?
Recommendations.
3 recommendations. Some of them have to do with the language that's used, and it's been revised to meet MSBA standards. You want to look at mine?
Yeah, I have it on my phone.
Oh, you have it, okay. That's awful little on your phone. Okay. All right, here we go. So proposal number 1. I did. What you trying to say? I can't see. Proposal number 1, you all forgive us. Diligent is new to us. And so we are learning how to navigate our new system. Proposal number 1 talked about MSBA stand. I can't make my computer move. MSBA stand, and we share their consensus. If I could just go ahead.
Okay.
Read it.
All right, so the first proposal is on finance, section 1 finance, and it states that MSBA opposes the use of vouchers, tax credits, deductions for tuition and related educational expenses and other similar credit systems to support non-public K-12 schools. So what is being proposed to be added from Wright City R2 school district is that this phrase here, after K-12 schools that are not subject to the same accountability standards as Missouri Public Schools and do not enroll and educate all students. MSBA also supports measures that increase the accountability of these non-public K-12 schools that participate in or benefit from these programs. So as a delegate on October, I think that Friday, I will be representing the school district to vote either in favor or in opposition of that proposal. And I guess we'll be discussing it tonight. The second proposal is related to child nutrition. And what is added by Columbia Public Schools is MSBA supports additional funding for school districts to provide free breakfast and lunch to all students. So that is what the proposal is. The other item that was already there was MSBA supports legislation that would support for efficient, economical school nutrition programs that provide access to healthy and appetizing food for all children. The last one is related to cell phones. What is being added, MSBA supports school districts' authority to adopt policies that restrict cell phone use during school hours, including restrictions against the unauthorized recording of students, faculty, and staff on personally owned devices. So it talked about concerns where students are recording in the restroom, they're recording fights, they're recording staff without their permission. So it just supports the districts kind of having the authority to make decisions related to that.
So proposal number one, and the consensus of this board has been that we are in favor of the language that is used here. So do we need to discuss that language?
We might need to make a motion on it because I don't think we have any documented that we in consensus. So unless there was another meeting that
Last
they
year
did it.
we voted in this.
Oh,
Yes.
so
This
this
was
is
our town
amendment to
hall.
this one?
No, not.
Okay.
It was all in about the use of the charter schools and the vouchers. And last year in our town hall meeting, you may recall that we voted that we were not in favor of charter schools or voucher systems.
Oh, you talked about when y'all did the letter to the governor then?
No,
Or-
I'm talking, yeah, that was one
Okay.
instance, yes. And then another instance was even before that in our town hall. So, I guess at this time we need to look at the language and it's there on your, you have it, Miss? You have it on yours? It's, okay.
'Cause with the proposal one, I don't know if our legislators can speak to it, but since the legislation has already been passed, what is the impact of that additional language? Is there any of the two of you that can speak to that piece? Because the bill has passed, so is there any real impact to that proposal? You said no, you don't think so? Okay.
The explanation, it says this revised advocacy permission was submitted by the Wright City R2 School District and edited by the Advocacy Committee to help provide clarity for legislators and accountability to state and local taxpayers. The MSBA Advocacy Committee supports the adoption of this advocacy position. Let me see, I think that up too fast. And then that last portion said that the MSBA supports the adoption, the same thing. So we are in support of.
Do I need to
Am I
make-
correct?
should I make a
Help us,
motion?
please.
If we're in favor of it, I think we should make a motion so that whatever the board decides, that's how we vote. Even though Miranda is our delegate, and we're voting as a board. So I would like to make a motion that we support item number one with regards to the vouchers. That we're in opposition of supporting
The use of.
vouchers. Am I saying that correctly? Shay, you looking at me kind of. Am I saying that correctly?
Well, it opposes the use of vouchers, tax credits, deductions, or tuition and related educational expenses and other similar credit systems to support non-public K through 12 schools that are not subject to the same accountability standards as Missouri Public Schools, and do not enroll and educate all students. MSBA also supports measures that increase the accountability of these non-public K through 12 schools that participate in or benefit from these programs.
So should I state it as that we support MSBA's advocacy
Okay.
decision? I wasn't sure how to support it, state it.
The
I
language
would say that
proposal.
you would say that you support the proposal recommendation.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. That's what I.
The
Number one,
recommended
two, and three.
One.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what she said.
Do you want to vote on them individually or do
I
you
think
want to
that would
vote on
be
them
best.
individually? Okay. Was there
Okay,
a second?
Second.
Was there a second to it and a
Oops.
vote?
I'll second.
Motion. Lang said.
you made the motion,
Ms.
and Ms.
Lang.
Lane second. Any questions, any further discussion? Roll call, sure. Or you want?
If you would like. You want a roll call vote?
Yes.
Yes, for the question part, based on the legislator's statement, I will be abstaining because it won't hold any significance, so I'm just letting you know for my discussion part.
Ms. Tisworth?
I'm
Ms.
sorry.
Williams?
Yes.
Oh. Ms. Lane?
Yes.
Ms. Morrill?
Yes.
Dr. Coleman?
Yes.
Dr. Von Elliott?
Abstain.
Ms. Jackson? The motion passes.
All right, thank you.
We're gonna do the other two.
Yes, and the next two, let's go to the next one, I'm sorry.
Nutrition. It's the nutrition.
The MSA supports legislation, and the new language says, okay, number one says, MSBA supports legislation that would allow for efficient and economical school nutrition programs that provide access to healthy and appetizing food to all children. And the new language says, MSBA supports additional funding for school districts to provide free breakfast and lunches to all students.
I would like to make a motion to show or approve support towards proposal 2 recommendation.
Madam Chair, I second.
It's been moved and second, moved by Dr. Von Elliott and second by Ms. Morrill to accept the proposal 2 as it is presented. Roll call. Oh, roll, sure. Are there any questions for discussion, please? Roll call, sure.
Ms. Jackson?
Yes.
Dr. Von Elliott?
Yes.
Dr. Coleman?
Yes.
Ms. Morrill?
Yes.
Ms. Lane?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
And Ms. Tisworth?
All right. All right, the last proposal, I move that the board accept the proposal recommendation for 3, which relates to cell phones.
So second.
I'll second. Oh, she's.
It's been moved by Dr. Von Elliott and second by Ms. Jackson that we accept the proposal as written, that MSBA supports school districts' authority to adopt policies that restrict cell phone use during school hours, including restrictions against the unauthorized recording of students, faculty, and staff on personally owned devices.
Questions?
Any questions?
I'd like to make a statement with regard to that. At our regional meeting, that was a discussion that a lot of people had, and I just wanted to say, a lot of people were, not that Riverview was like the forefront of anything, but a lot of people were watching the fact that we had started the bags here. So I just wanted to state that, so.
We were on the forefront, Ms. Morrill. It's okay to say it.
I can say we really were, and they noticed. So, yeah.
Roll call vote, please.
Ms. Morrill?
Yes.
Ms. Tisworth? Ms. Jackson?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
I abstain.
Ms. Lane?
Yes.
Dr. Von Elliott?
Yes.
And Dr. Coleman.
Yes. And just for the record, Ms. Morrill, as you vote in the General Assembly, your vote to represent what did I say?
Voted.
I used to be me and
Exactly.
I have watched the videos. I am prepared.
Okay, no, I know you're prepared, but I don't want you to abstain. I want you to wave your little palette real high. She said, don't abstain. Don't make me jump over the rope and come here. Oh, thank you. That's,
That
all for
concludes
that.
our items for discussion.
All right, thank you very much. And now, motion to adjourn.
Madam Chair, somebody beat me.
Ms. Tinsworth is ready to go. It's been moved by Ms. Tinsworth. I second. Ms. Morrill, that we adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all so much for your time and for your support.